Thank you for joining us today. I'm Andrew Phipps. I always appreciate your being with us and taking time out of busy schedules. Today on the Faith, Family, and Freedom program, we have some exciting facets to that. One, we will be talking with a good friend, Congressman Tim Burchett, who represents the area of Knoxville, Tennessee, and some of the surrounding areas. He's a wonderful Christian man, just down to earth, and I always have great fun when I get to talk with Congressman Tim Burchett. And he's a Christian, and he attends Bible studies and has a home church that he supports in his own district. And I think you will appreciate the forthrightness of how that he speaks to us today. And I want to provide ample time for the interviews and all that we have. So let's get right in on the conversation that was taped in Washington, D.C. with Congressman Tim Burchett. It's an honor to be in the Longworth building right here in D.C. with Congressman Tim Burchett, who represents the great city of Knoxville and that surrounding metropolis. And Tim Burchett.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you for being up here with us.
Well, we get to talk every once in a while, don't we?
Yes, sir.
You know, we have so much in common. Our daughter Angie teaches our principal at Grace Christian Academy. And of course, I know you know Dr. Clarence Sexton at Temple Baptist.
Very well.
Good man, isn't he?
He's the best. He is the best. I'm a big fan of Pastor Sexton. He's been really kind to me and my family.
Now, you were
mayor of Knox County, yes, for 8 years. And I was, prior to that, I was a state senator for 12 years. And then prior to that, I was a state rep for 4 years.
My goodness. Well, we are doing, Congressman Burchett, a program that's on several television stations. We call it Faith, Family, and Freedom. Those are big words, all three words. You've been here for a little while now on Capitol Hill. What do you think? Are you optimistic?
Well, God's in charge. He says that he knows the hairs on our head and if a sparrow falls from the sky. And I believe that literally. I think our country's in trouble. I think we are, Reagan said, you're never more than one generation away and from losing your country, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but the reality is we're in a terrible situation. We've turned from our faith. We've turned from our beliefs in this country. And unfortunately, Marxist thoughts and behavior have taken over. They've gone from the back room literally to the boardroom. Corporations are being overrun by woke individuals, as I'd like to call them. And it's infiltrated down to every level where our colleges and universities are full of leftist, literally Marxist people that are teaching, and folks of traditional values or Christian values are generally shouted down, and the kids feel like they're marginalized, and we need to take back those institutions, I believe. And Congress is very much an example of that. Several of my friends across the aisle, who I pray for, I don't agree with a dadgum thing they do. They are publicly educated.
Right. Yes, right.
My good friend, Miss Cortez, she has Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. I believe her degree is in economics.
Oh my!
So that ought to tell you.
Did she pass the class?
Apparently she did. She's very charming. As I said, she's a friend of mine. I talked to her yesterday. We're working on. I try to find legislation, like-minded things. Things where we can get along together, and I try to be friends with everybody. I don't agree with them.
Right.
And they realize that. I tell them I'm a conservative. I'm just not angry about it.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
Quick question: do you feel overwhelmed by the philosophies and by what's being advocated and articulated when you go about your business? Here you are from a beautiful area, Tennessee, wonderful people who love God, they love their families, they love their freedoms. Do you feel sometimes that you're just inundated with a belief system that's just overpowering? Or
yes, sir, I do. I pray a lot. And I get home as soon as I tell folks, I don't care if I'm having the best day of my life up here, and I get home and TV's out and electricity's out and dogs have pooped on the carpet and all, and my daughter is mad at me or something, and I said, and it's still the best day of my life because I'm away from this, and it's and too many folks get caught up in the swamp. They live up here, they move up here, and I don't. I get home as fast as I can. My family's at home. My home is in East Tennessee, and I get home as fast as possible because you get covered up. You read the news. You on the computer. I was pointing at my computer, but and you think that's the way the world thinks. And that's not how the world thinks.
No, there's a big disconnect in there.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you something. Sometimes I wonder, particularly at my age, and I don't mean this like I'm bragging on myself, but I easily could be home today. I don't have to be up here running through the rain. I wonder sometimes, is there a place for just folks like us that are still out trying to promote the exceptionalism of America and our faith, our family, and our freedom?
Well, we're here. Today is Thursday, and this morning it's kind of hard for me to get used to because Wednesday being a Baptist, I'm used to going to prayer meeting on Wednesday night, but on Thursday mornings, we have it's a bipartisan prayer group, really. And we talk about things, we talk about our constituents that are in need, people around the country and people we work with up here, and we pray for them, literally. It's a Christian organization. And there are several of us up here, but too, you got to realize a lot of the faith community, in my opinion, are gutless. I mean, you've got abortion on demand that's going on. I mean, I know we've rolled some of those things back and other things like that, and our Christian folks are afraid to speak the truth. And my daddy used to tell me, he said that, Timmy, there's nothing in this world, in this country, that couldn't be solved if the preachers in this country would just preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I think and we've been shouted down so much and maybe infiltrated and other reasons, and they're afraid to do it. And I refuse to accept that.
Well, I'm still trying to get around the country. I'm trying to be what you just described. I think it was George Whitefield who said that it's a poor sermon that neither offends the listener nor the preacher. And I think sometimes that, I said this, and it's not original. Somebody said the world had gotten a little churchy, and the church had gotten a whole lot worldly. So there may be some truth in that. But I just want to thank you that you'd take your time. You're a busy person, and you would include me in that.
Well, thank you. You pay my salary. Maybe that's part of the problem here. These folks don't include folks like you.
We're here because I love the people, not only of Tennessee, we love everybody, but that's a beautiful state. When you get around North Dam and Knoxville and through there, such a rich heritage there in Knoxville. The late Mull, J. Basil.
J. Basil. I was on the Mull singing convention as a little boy one time. My daddy was on the school board, and J. Basil and Miss Mull. When I was a patrol boy, they'd bring their grandson to school at West Hills Elementary School, and they'd drive by me in a Pinto station wagon.
Oh, is that right?
And old Reverend Mull, hey, Brother Burchett. He was blind, so they'd always look off in the wrong direction. And I miss those days.
I can just imagine them saying, well, I'll tell you, lady, that Tim Burchett got a mouth to something. Tim Burchett, would it be all right if I count you as a friend?
100. It'd be rude if you did.
All right, my brother. Thank you for this. Thank you. I know the people that see it wherever will appreciate what you're doing.
Yes.
Thank you. God bless.
You,
It's refreshing when you talk with a man like Congressman Tim Burchett. He is an exceptional individual. I like his down-to-earth demeanor. I don't care a lot for arrogance, and so I like folks that are real, that are genuine, that haven't allowed a position to go to their head or whatever. And he just kind of I think tells it how he feels and so on. Well, anyway, today, I hope that you enjoyed the Congressman. Also, we have a song today that by Howard Hayes and his family. Howard has since joined the heavenly ranks, but he was a dear friend. He and I always enjoyed conversation. They lived up in around the Boone, North Carolina area, and Howard Hayes, and of course his son Marlon Hayes family continue with the singing, but they have a song that was written, I believe, in 1928. And a lot of the songs today, I kind of yearn for some of the sweet melodies and sweet lyrics that we used to have in our songs. And I hope today that you might enjoy the Hayes family as they sing for us, Great Homecoming Day. You have been a blessing already. So many of you reach out to us, and for that we're grateful. We do get some mail from different parts of the areas that we reach with television, and we're hoping that perhaps we can go on other outlets as well. There's no reason why we can't. If your church or you as an individual or as a business person, if you feel that faith, family, and freedom, if those are important words to you, I hope that you might think this would be a good opportunity to reach out. We could use your support. We don't want to be beggars. We want to be a blessing. Let me also say this today, that our attempts are to speak truth to error. We don't want to be abrasive or ugly, but we do feel that there is a real need in this cancel culture society in which we find ourselves. I find it very almost duplicitous that we have people that want to be on like our United States Supreme Court that are reluctant to even tell us what a woman is, because the answer is, I'm not a biologist. Well, that would be like saying, I don't know if it's raining because I'm not a meteorologist. I think that we have reached a point where that we are so interested in politically correct answers and appealing to some kind of groups or having political correctness or identity. I think they call it identity politics, where you try to placate or at least say things that would be salutary to the group that you're trying to reach. But I think it's time today that we just be men and women of truth. You know, our forefathers, even people that served in government years ago, they seemingly had no trouble with expressing themselves. And it's ironic today that we have decisions made where in gender identity that we're probably going to erase girls' sports or athletics if we don't correct this madness. I mean, we all know what the difference between a male and a female is, and we can't expect ladies, where it's in a biological situation of strength, maybe to compete with males. Some of this just boils right down to common sense. And if we throw common sense out the window, I respect academia and I respect learning, but my goodness, our parents, they ruled just by common sense. They had wisdom. They might not have had the depth of degrees associated with colleges and or universities, but they had wisdom. They knew how to rear children. They knew how to make decisions. For example, they believed in the Bible. They believed in the family. They believed in patriotism and things that we always endorse. And I want to be one of those that stand on the shoulders of those that have preceded us and also advocate for the same ideas. In this modern time, I see no reason why we should abdicate or remove the ancient landmarks which the fathers have said. I see no reason why that we shouldn't adhere to the idea that righteousness exalteth a nation, But sin is a reproach to any people. And we have sinned. I mentioned it various times that we've gotten life, for example, to where that it's fairly callous, or we don't regard the sanctity of life. And we're seeing the results of that with murder rates and crime rates and theft and so on, right through the roofs in many of our major cities. God help us. We can do better. And I'll be back in just a moment.
It's time to plan for the 47th Annual Southern Gospel Singing at Sea Cruise. Join Andrew and Shirlene Phipps as you depart from Port Canaveral for the trip, January 30th through February 3rd, 2023, for warm sunshine and tropical breezes in the Caribbean. With 30 of the top Southern Gospel groups in the nation, you will be entertained and you'll be inspired by the best in Southern Gospel preaching. Dine on delicious foods, see the sights, and bask in the warm glow of Christian fellowship on the world's largest all-Christian cruise to the Bahamas. Hurry, because this trip of a lifetime sells out fast. All that is needed now is a small deposit, and you can continue to pay over time. For more information, call Andrew Phipps at 765-744-4239.
Hello, friends. This is Andrew Phipps, and I believe that we need all of the materials that we can gather to help us as we combat the attack upon our faith, our family, and our freedoms. We need to be educated, and I have a handbook that has been given to state legislatures. It's been given to members of Congress. It's a colorfully created handbook that has graphs, charts, quotes, and different things in it. You'll be impressed with it. And also we have DVDs. We have CDs that are God and Country, Return to Greatness, and Faith, Family, and Freedom, some other wonderful materials. See the contact information on the screen. Be sure that you order some, because these will be of a tremendous help. They are supplemental materials to help you in your Christian walk. And may God bless. I'm here in Washington, D.C. at a place they call Martin's Tavern. The name goes back to many, many years ago, because that was the name given to inns or eating establishments. But in this particular place here, we're sitting where President John F. Kennedy is credited with writing the great inaugural speech given in 1961, where he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." He would attend the church that he was a member and would come here, and in this great speech that so many have known and heard about, the youngest elected president in American history, right here in this booth, gave and wrote this great literature that he not only spoke in person at the inaugural, but has been credited with perhaps being one of the greatest inaugural addresses, in the sense that we can remember those famous lines. We think the lines are still true today. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Continuing with our historic tour in Washington, D.C., there are so many famous places in D.C. It's replete with historical places, people, monuments, markers, and much, much more. In this particular booth, Richard Nixon was credited with eating here, and this was considered his booth. Actually, we found out that Richard Nixon and John Kennedy were really pretty good friends. And of course, the 1960 election was the closest election in modern history, with just 100,000 votes separating the two candidates, and it went to the wire, literally. Richard Nixon now in spite of Watergate or whatever, is still regarded as one of the best presidents in foreign policy matters. His working with the other totalitarian governments and demanding the acceptance of American strength and American values, his understanding of those issues even today is recognized as very great. I hope you enjoy the little segue here as we zoom in on the Richard Nixon table here in Washington, D.C. Well, this is the third booth here at what is called Martin's Tavern, that name going back many, many years ago. One of the oldest establishments in Washington, D.C. And as we can see here, this is the proposal booth where President John Fitzgerald Kennedy proposed to Jackie. And it's replete here with a lot of history, and this particular area here, I think they were married, I believe, in 1956, if my memory serves me. He was a young senator by then, and this is recognized as where the proposal was made for their marriage. I hope you might have enjoyed it. Thank you. Friends, I want to thank you as always for telling others about our program. You are key to our reaching more and more people. In your churches, if you would be so kind as to help advertise what we're trying to accomplish here with faith, family, and freedom. I think the three words designate, or they encompass, what the overall goals for this kind of programming is all about. By the way, we do have some products. Now, this particular Faith, Family, and Freedom handbook is a very colorful handbook. Anywhere you open it, it's the pictorial quality is great. If you would like to help get this into the state legislature in your state, contact us and we'll work it out somehow. We need to get those materials. They're quotations, graphs, charts, essays, and much, much more. And we can get them all over with your help. So if you'd like to be a part of that, just contact us and we'll make it happen somehow, some way. Again, if your church and you feel that we're trying to accomplish something that's worthy, something that'll help people, we always would appreciate hearing from you. You can pray for us and also ask God maybe how you can help. I'm going to be looking forward to being with you again at the next opportunity, but until then, I want you to have a great day.